Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching a special show of Startup Central, and now on the show we bring on the broadcast Sanjeev Bikchandani, who's the founder and executive chairman of InfoEdge. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us here on ET Now and taking the time out to be part of the special show that we are airing today. And since we're talking about the startup ecosystem, well, you've been the OG of startups and entrepreneurship. So what inspired you to leave a stable corporate job and start Naukri.com in the late 90s when the internet was still new in India? That was a brave, brave act.
So let me put it this way. I quit my job in 1990 and I became an entrepreneur. And we launched Naukri in 97. So actually for 7 years, I was drifting and doing a whole bunch of small things. I just wanted to be an entrepreneur. I did not want the life of a corporate executive. So I was seeking a different life. And after working for 5 years in 2 large multinationals, I felt I should do something different and on my own and be independent and see what happens. So I was drifting and experimenting with my career. And during those 7 years, I did a bunch of small things: salary surveys, trademarks database, teaching, training, writing. I was a part-time journalist for a while. So, I know what being a journalist is. I was a consulting editor at the Pioneer newspaper for a couple of years, part-time. And so I did about 20 small things, and Naukri itself was the 21st small thing, a nifty small idea, which we launched in 1997. At that time, there were only 14,000 internet accounts in the country. And we said, let's just put jobs on the internet and see if we get traffic. And we collated jobs from 29 newspapers around the country we used to get every week into our office, and take the appointment ads and rehash them in our own words. And put them up on the net, and traffic began to come. Once traffic began to come, we began to charge for listings. So slowly, revenue grew. First year, 2.5 lakhs. Second year, 18 lakhs. Third year, 36 lakhs. And that's when we raised venture capital. After bootstrapping was 3 years. And that is when actually we began to grow the company. So, yeah, we worked hard, worked smart, drifted, got lucky, God was kind, whatever. So I had no big ideas. I had a bunch of small ideas, and we would pursue them in sequence. And this one turned out to be a big idea.
All right, so drifting, you're saying, is not so bad in your career because eventually you find your way through things. So I'm hoping that all the youngsters who are watching this show will find some relief in that statement, sir. But to all the people watching, what were some of your biggest hurdles that you faced early on in your career in financing, especially in a pre-VC funding India? How did you approach building a business that became profitable early on, unlike many of the startups that are still burning cash, and they continue to burn cash for years?
If you don't have money, you have no choice but to break even to survive, which basically means you get money from customers. So you've got to produce products and sell products that customers will pay for them in advance, because you don't have working capital. So your working capital is given to you by your customer advances, which basically means that you've got to identify what opportunity you want to address in such a manner that you are unique and there is a burning need. If these two are satisfied, you will get your terms of trade, you'll get the price you want, and you'll get your payment in advance, and that helps. And that's what we did.
All right. So it was essentially the lack of money or the lack of any of these VC ecosystems that were present, and that really pushed you to focus more on profitability. But sir, you've been investing since 2007, several sectors you've targeted, whether it's delivery, food, agriculture, fintech, and even AI as well. So as an investor, how are you seeing those bets playing out? And if things were any different, would you have taken those bets differently?
We began to invest in 2007. Since then, we have invested in 130 startups. Of these, the two most successful ones are Zomato and Policy Bazaar. We invested in Policy Bazaar in 2008, and we invested in Zomato in 2010. So it has taken 17 years and 15 years for them to reach where they have reached. Right? So first of all, it takes time. You've got to be patient. Inception to IPO was, 14 years in one case, 13 years in one case, and 11 years in the other case. So in India, you've got to if you're investing in early stage companies, to actually see them to fruition and scale, and therefore large returns, you've got to be patient, right? It cannot be a 5-6 year thing. It may be 15 years, 20 years, I don't know. Second is, of the remaining companies, some have failed, some are work in progress, and some are likely to succeed. So let's see. It's, the entrepreneurship is, early stage entrepreneurship is fundamentally Darwinian in nature. Many try, some succeed.
All right. In fact, several bets that you've taken, in fact, some of them have done rather well. And let me, on that note, focus on quick commerce segment in business is, of course, there is a lot of competition in that space, especially as the quick food delivery business is concerned, the quick commerce business is concerned. So how do you see one of your portfolio companies, Zomato, positioning itself now? Because you do have newer players coming in, and in the latest earnings call, they said that they're prioritizing market share over profit. So how do you, as an investor, look at the company's strategy to focus on growth versus profitability?
Well, that's in the short run, there will be competitive pressures. But in the medium term, it's pretty clear to me that people have to migrate to prudent unit economics. You cannot discount your way to heaven. It will not work. And it's a matter of time. So I guess Zomato has enough staying power to wait it out and eventually win.
All right, sir. Let me also bring your attention to the 1,000 crore fund, which you recently announced. Which are the sectors that, your company, InfoEdge, will be focusing on? Which are some of the sectors that are of interest to you or that look interesting to you?
Our fund 3, so in the beginning, we invested from our balance sheet. Then we had InfoEdge Ventures Fund 1, and then Fund 2, and now this is Fund 3. The strategy, the sectors remain the same. We will do early stage tech, both consumer tech and B2B tech, internet, mobile, and some other areas of tech. That remains our strategy and our focus. Our method of investing is that we will never do it top down. We'll not pick a sector and say, okay, let's do this sector. We will meet 1,000 companies a quarter, which is what we do. We will see what's bubbling up from under. And anything that looks interesting, we will look at more closely and possibly invest in. So that's how we invest. That's how we found Zomato. That's how we found Policybazaar. We just kept meeting companies, and we found these two and other companies, and then that's how we invested.
All right. So you are going to be focusing on consumer businesses, and of course, technology will remain an important part of your portfolio. Well, on that note, sir, thank you very much for joining us on this special episode right here on Startup Central. Thank you very much and appreciate you taking the time out. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with that, it's time's completely up right here on Startup Central. Hope you liked the show as much as we did putting it together for you. From me and the entire team, goodbye and thank you very much for staying with us.